set the tone. I'm the example, standard of how she should be handled. You won't be the only man in her life. Too late, she already knows what right feels like. If you want a good impression, I will give you some direction. I've got a ride for me on my good side. And stay there, stay right there. I've got a ride for me on my good side. And stay there, don't go nowhere. I know you might be a little taken back just from where I stand. It can look a little suspect. Yes, now I don't play about her. Watch how you under her nerve. She goes too far, I'm gonna now.
Oh, thank you guys. That was fun.
The cat thinks
It
I'm
worked.
fighting. I'm dancing.
You told Keeg, that just turned me on, brother. I was feeling kind of, and that just. So thank you. That was awesome.
Oh, that's so good. All right, guys, welcome to Storyteller Secrets of Success. Happy Tuesdays. So, in order to support us in having the most creativity unlocked in our time together, I invite us all to be as permission giving to yourself that whatever you create at whatever coolness level you think it is, as that judge comes in, you allow yourself to just let it out and judge it after the fact versus before it comes out. So if you're willing to let yourself, look stupid, if you will, then Dustin, would you give us a gesture that we can all copy as a sign that we agree to judge ourselves after our creativity?
Oh,
There it is. Oh.
how do you do that? Okay.
It's a bird.
Thank you.
It's a bird.
It's a bird.
And another piece is each time we are creative, we want to celebrate each other so that we continue to want to be more creative. So, Carrie, would you create a celebration sound and gesture for us to do every time somebody finishes their storytelling or creativity?
I'll just use something while I was in the Navy. Hoo-yah!
Hoo-yah!
Hoo-yah! Yeah.
Hoo-yah!
Hoo-yah!
Hoo-yah, Corey!
Nice.
Hoo-yah, Dustin!
Hoo-yah, Barry!
Hoo-yah, Gary!
Perfect. All right. So anytime someone finishes telling a story or is creative, we're going to throw out a hoo-yah!
Hoo-yah!
And let's jump in, guys. So what I want to share with you today is some exercises that are really going to open up your ability to define a story with your body, right? To use you have this screen, you have your arms, right? You've got the elbow joint, you've got the wrist, you've got the fingers. I want us to really learn how to paint a picture with them inside of our storytelling. And have a really great way to express emotion inside the story by using the face muscles. So we're going to practice gestures. We're going to practice face in order to express emotions. And then we're going to also play with the voice. How do we use the voice in different ways in order to create more influential impact? So we're going to isolate all these different mechanisms to deliver a story and then bring them all together as a whole and see how that influences the stories we're telling. Okay? So I'll give you guys all a game to play right now, and then we'll play the very same game after we do the isolations as a way of integrating and seeing how we are influenced because we've conditioned all these different mechanisms. So in honor of that, let's grab my prep I made. Dig it down, dig it down, dig it down, down. Let's see here. Cool. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'll give you a topic. Let's see. We need to have the chat open. So you want to have the chat box open, and each of us, we'll go in an order, right? So for example, you're going to get a topic. You're going to tell a sincere story about that topic. And then as you see a word pop up in the chat, you want to use that word inside of your story somehow. The more eloquent, the better. The more it flows, the smoother it is for people to go, wow, that really seemed like you had that story already in your pocket versus you just made it up, right? So what will be is there's a topic, and then you're going to get 3 words throughout the next couple minutes that you're going to try to integrate into your story, okay? So I can go first as an example, and let's see, I had it over here. Yeah, cool. Okay, so I've got topics to give each of you. I'll give myself a random. You guys choose a number between 1 and 7 to give me a topic.
6.
6, perfect. Okay. Of course you chose 6. Of course. All right, so my topic is the story behind my favorite tattoo. And let's see here. The order would be Dustin, then Carrie, then Corey.
Okay.
So I'll start telling my story, and then after a few sentences, Dustin, you just give a random word in there, right? It could be mermaid, it could be a dust storm, it could be aggressively scissoring, it could be anything you want, right? You get feel free to throw me a curveball. Could be, doing your taxes late, like whatever, anything you want. You're gonna throw that in there, and then I'll try to integrate that in. After I integrate that in, then it's the next guy's turn to put something in there. And after all 3 rounds, story's done.
Okay.
So I'll start, and then in a few sentences, Dustin, you throw something in. Yeah. So funny thing about tattoos is that they're permanent, right? You're not gonna get away from it. It's with you for a lifetime, and so they have to have meaning, right? If they don't have meaning, then it's like you're just putting some trash on your body. So I like to be very considerate of my body, the same way that some people experience a mother's love, like unconditional. I'm going to really get a tattoo that I completely am infatuated and grateful for. And so I was at the rifle range in Okinawa, Japan, with over 200 Marines firing down range. And, we always wanted to be able to throw items up into the sky, and then shoot them. Like someone could just throw their thermos up into the air and be like, and hit it. And we wouldn't do that because there was enough people that would shame or destroy us if we did that because of safety. Ooh, be safe. And so I just shot the target, and out of the whole time I was there, I had the best score out of everybody. I was an expert marksman every single time I went to the range, And my friend was like, "That's so freaking badass! Like that's so cool that you did that. You know, like how do we celebrate that?" Yeah, Carrie, your turn to just put a word in there. Uh, so we went out that night, and we got one of those big jungle juices, which is like all kinds of liquors all in one, and I'm like drinking out of that with my friend, and I'm like, "Let's go get the tattoo, bro." And so we go to the place. The guy doesn't speak any English. He have no English.
Yeah.
And so I tell him, I'm like, "Okay, this is what I want. This is where I want on my body." And he's like, "Cool, come back in an hour," right? So we go for that jungle juice. Carrie, your turn to put something in the mix and to give me a word. Carrie, you need to write a word, some kind of suggestion into the chat so I can add it into my story.
Okay.
Anything, yeah. There's no perfect. So I get the tattoo. It was so intense, and I had drank a little bit, so I actually like passed out mid tattoo. And so he wakes me up like, "Oh, you're done. Blood everywhere. Ah, very dangerous." You know, Carrie, you got to put something in the chat, man.
Yeah.
Come on.
All right.
There we
Mars.
go. There we go. Perfect. It's like there's blood everywhere. I was like, "Oh, sorry, man." I must have thought that I was like some kind of like freaky person who has, I don't know, like Martian blood or something, because I was not bleeding from above the waist. And I got the tattoo and I celebrated it with my friends. They were like, "This is epic." And it was on my butt. And so we had to ride the airplane from Okinawa to mainland Japan after the rifle range. And I was like, just imagine me. I'm like laying on my side, and in a military airplane, there's no seats. It's like cargo nets. It really digs into your butt. It hurts. So I'm like in my flak jacket and camouflage, wearing my helmet, holding my rifle. And then I'm like laying sideways with my head on someone's lap, so my butt wouldn't be there. And everyone's laughing so hard because they're like, "You're so cool," but yet the tattoo actually says badass.
Badass.
So they were like, "This is the most non-badass badass I've ever seen," and that's my favorite tattoo. Thank you, guys.
Nice. What do we do again, Carrie? Hooah!
Oh yeah.
Hooyah!
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. And that's how it's done. All right. So I imagine you could feel the urge, the excitement, or the fear in order to tell your story. So I want you to feel that right now. And then also know that it can be a reverse indicator. It can be the thing you run towards instead of away from. If you tell yourself, "Bring it on," like, "Yeah, I'm excited," right? Fear and excitement are the same neurology, but it's perspective that changes your interpretation. So if you're feeling that fear, I want you to feel that and go, "I'm excited." And then you're going to have to unmute yourself and say, "Guys, I want to tell you a story." And then your story will begin. And I will put your topic into the chat as soon as you say, "Let me tell you a story."
Guys, let me tell you a story.
How to best enjoy vacation.
So my most memorable vacation was just a few years ago. And me and my family went to Hawaii, and it was a lot of my family because it's all of us. Are you guys going to put things in the chat?
Yeah, we're just going to give you a few sentences to set yourself up.
Got it. And my family is large. It was all my cousins. It was just after my grandma passed, and we did this vacation to kind of honor her. I find best to enjoy a vacation when it has purpose. And we found ourselves all together, all 20 of our cousins, double fisting cocktails, and having the best time ever. We went to Hawaii, the Big Island, and we all had our different hotel rooms, different families. My family here, another family here. And we would just have meals together. We would wake up in the morning. I'd make eggs and pancakes. And of course, you need your maple syrup for your pancakes. Nothing like a little butter, syrup, maple pancake on a vacation. Maple syrup on your pancake in a vacation. And just having the whole family there, really going somewhere. A vacation is best enjoyed being with people you love and care about, and when it has a purpose, to kind of broaden your perspective on life, or explore and learn about new cultures and things of that nature. A good story on this vacation is my brother, my sister, and my brother's girlfriend went to the north side of the island where there was no service, absolutely no service. We drive up there, and my brother gets a little drunk, and he's driving, and we go check out this little area. We built a fire. It was very cool, and then we go to leave, and we're leaving the area, and my brother probably shouldn't have driven, but it was his rental car, and he demanded it. So as we're leaving, he's got this Jeep, and it's a very bumpy road out of the campground. Front right wheel comes up, comes down, flat tire, north side of the island, no reception. It's like midnight, 1 a.m. So we make it up onto the main road, and I'm like, you got a fucking flat, Billy. You got to pull over. You got to pull the fuck over. So we pull over, and we broke up into groups. My brother and my little sister went down back to the campgrounds trying to find some people to help them out. I stayed on the road with his girlfriend trying to flag people down as they came by. And
Carrie, give him a suggestion.
Come on, Carrie.
Carrie,
I need a suggestion for my story.
A suggestion. How about these drugs?
Every single time someone's talking, Carrie, you have to write it and type it into the chat so that you're listening to the story, and then that way we don't interrupt the story.
For sure.
And this young kid, perfect, Carrie. This young kid came whipping around the corner, music blasting, native Hawaiian guy, and he almost hits me. I'm flagging him down, and he pulls over. And I kind of look into his car, and what do I see in his passenger seat? A bong and some drugs. Weed. But he is the most quintessential Hawaiian guy you've ever met. And he helped us change that tire, stoned as hell, and get us back to the hotel, where we got back at 3 a.m. and I had to be up at 5:30 for golf the next morning. But it was amazing. And I wouldn't change. I'd change a few things about the night. But there you go.
Yeah. Ooh, Whoa. Nice. That's it. All right. I'm taking notes as you guys go, and I'll give feedback after everyone goes. Oh, yeah. And there was a just.
Can I tell you guys a story?
Oh, he's in. He's ready. Yeah. Let me give you a topic, man. All right. Let's go with
most impactful teacher I've ever had. Okay. I just have to remember his name. 1 second. Yes, that's right. Okay. So when I was in high school, I was in grade 10 at LaSalle High School here in Kingston, which ironically is right there, right across from the house that I live in right now. And it was in this English class that I met this guy named Mr. McKechnie. And Mr. McKechnie was a pretty cool dude, you know, like he had like long hair and you know, he was just he was different. And it was the first time when in a class he basically brought up the topic of God. And we were all just like, and actually what he said was, God is dead. God isn't real. And all of us students were like, what? We felt like we were like corns of husk just being peeled right off of the right off the corn and just like exposed, right? So, you know, I went home that night and I said this to my parents. I'm like, this teacher is wild, you know, like he's telling us all kinds of crazy stuff like God is dead. And my parents were choked. They were like, what is this man teaching these kids? But nevertheless, though, he was the first one to really challenge us as students. We were only in grade 10. And I think one of the other amazing aspects of his teaching was just be yourself, right? Just be. You know, you can walk around with a finger in your ear. Who cares, right? Just be a good student. Be the man that you want to be. Just be and just live. And it was so refreshing, right? Because every other teacher at the school was so rigid and so typical, like what you would think of at a Canadian Catholic high school, right? But no, this guy was different, and he was really challenging us to open our minds and open our horizons. And the semester only lasted 4 months, but at the end of that semester, basically every student in his class just we were like heartbroken that this was over, and we prayed that he would teach us in other classes, but it never came to fruition. So what do you got, Carrie? So, but ironically, I saw Mr. McKechnie a couple years ago. I was out for a beer. This is a true story, and I can't believe you wrote that. But I was out for a story with my buddy Jimmy. His real name's James, but he goes by Jimmy. And we were out for a beer, and we saw Mr. McKechnie. And we approached him, and we were just like, do you remember us? And he's like, of course I remember you guys. And we just had the most wonderful chat. And we both told him how amazing a teacher he was and how he was really impactful on our lives. Is that good?
Hoorah!
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 Carrie, did you give him a ooh-ah? Did you give him a ooh-ah?
Hoo-yup.
Hoo-yah.
Carrie, I want to challenge you to close your other tabs and focus.
Yeah, man. For sure, yeah. My attention span is like really, really low, but I'll try.
Bring it back to us, man. It's your turn to tell a story now. You got to give us the attention. All right, let me give you a topic. This is your topic. Go for it.
The power of a simple thank you. So one specific story, right? Or
one story, yeah, where you remember a thank you.
You got this, Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I have so many like. I just always it happens all the time. I have so many things in my mind. I just couldn't think one. Or fuck it. This one. It's not a perfect. It's not a perfect
Right.
example. Let's go.
Nice. I love it.
That's the one.
Yeah. So I was in the Navy back in Virginia, and I was like, uh, I was at the swimming pool, and my friend gave me a ride to the swimming pool from the base, and I was like, but for some reason, my friend couldn't pick me up when I've done the swimming. When I've done swimming, so now I just urgently need a ride. But unfortunately, I cannot call Uber because it's on base. And yeah, that was also a rainy day. I mean, not a rainy day, but I feel rainy. It was pretty cloudy day, and I feel rainy because I just got off the swimming pool. And what I was supposed to do, right? I need a ride, and I couldn't call the Uber because the swimming pool is on base. So I just like go out on the street and asking for a bunch of guys for help. And sure, why not just ask for the pizza delivery who was riding a motorcycle to see if can give me a ride. Just sit on his like pizza box or something. And definitely it's not gonna work. It's not gonna work. A motorcycle, that kind of motorcycle cannot fit two people. So I was just like asking around. Basically, other people look at me, and I was like, "This guy is fucking wet. I'm not gonna let this guy be on my car." So after so many failures, I was like very frustrated, right? And I'll be like, even when I say, I will cash up you $10, right? I literally want something to return, right? But unfortunately, other people, even I'm willing to pay $10, they still say no. So at that point, I just feel like very frustrated, and basically feels like as frustrated as just like getting naked and asking girls for phone number, right? Same situation.
Nice. Nice.
So eventually, I found a guy, and that person was actually a officer 05, a retired 05. While I was like enlisted E2, so a big gap between us in terms of the ranking. But I didn't know that, and I just asked for a ride, and I just say, afterwards I'm gonna pay you, no, let's say $20, and that guy be like, yeah, sure. And afterwards I was quite surprised, right? I just say thank you very much. Many people say, many people, I asked so many people, but like barely I could find anyone, and that guy be like, and I said thank you, and that guy be like, don't worry about the money, I'm in a very good mood, something like that. So just go and have a great day. So I love that story, and I love that day. It was a quote unquote rainy day, but I found my help and get back to my doorman. Yeah.
Hooah!
Ooh-yah! Ooh-yah!
Hoo-yah!
I'm terrible at birds.
Woo!
Good at it.
Very nice,
All right.
Corey. Very nice.
So before I give my feedback, that was fantastic, Carrie. Wow, you did phenomenal. What are moments that you noticed, you remembered the most, you were most like awake or present inside of the other guy's stories?
So I would say Corey, about like that moment is like believing, a teacher saying believing like Catholic school and also believing God. and also Dustin was like in a Hawaii or something like that. But that was pretty much it.
Yeah, yeah. I'd say when Dustin was talking about his brother driving drunk and he was getting like a little bit excited, I was like, "Oh dear, what's about to happen?" Right. So there was like that little bit of a what do you call that? Like I don't know, whatever you call that, a lead up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was the question again? Sorry, Keeg.
Which moments from all, is there any moments from anyone's stories that you still remember? Like, wow, that really stood out. And it could be from all three of us. These guys just gave one moment they remembered, but which moments do you remember?
I mean, I would have to say when they included our random things, I felt really involved and present in their stories. I mean, when Corey was able to take corn husks and make it really, really appeal to his story, being stripped, like that, like a corn husk. I thought that was really creative and cool, and I connected with that. And then for Carrie, what is he going to do? Sit on the pizza box of the delivery guy? I thought that was super hysterical, funny. So yeah, definitely connected to those two specific moments.
Love that. Sweet. All right. Now, what do you notice as commonalities in those moments that you remembered? I'm purposely asking you questions so that this is part of you learning. What about speeches or conversations creates imprint?
I guess the genuineness of it. I mean, it was obviously like Corey had no intention of saying corn husk, and Carrie had no intention of talking about a pizza delivery guy. They had to kind of work it into their story, and maybe alter their story a little bit, but their personality came through most in those moments, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So it's that unique inclusion. It's what I want to say. Does anybody else have an answer before I would say something? Thank you, Dustin.
I mean, I will say it's just like a freestyle version of rap, like in a rap battle, right? But instead it's just a storytelling.
Yeah. So what I'm gathering from you saying that is like a rap battle. This is like a story battle where it was like engaging because of the surprise of how it's going to get put in there.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Corey, anything to share about what you noticed commonalities with what was memorized?
So it's funny. What I think I noticed was that when each of us put the word in when the other person was speaking, I know I did it. I kind of like looked up in the air and I was thinking to myself as I'm talking, how am I going to use this word, right? And I'm not going to speak for the other guys, but it kind of looked the same way. Like as soon as the word was in, it was like, but we're talking, right? We're talking about our story, but we're trying to incorporate that word as well. So I don't know. That's just kind of what I felt.
Yeah. Dustin's coming a lot, apparently.
Well, like it came a lot quicker, like Corey said, as you're trying to like think about how I'm going to include these things, it kind of like zapped into my head. Oh, it's easy, or not wasn't easy, but it came a little easier than I expected.
Right. I love to hear that you're coming a lot easier. I'm glad. I hope it gets a little bit harder for you. What I want to share with you all is the commonalities that I notice are the pizza box, the corn husk, the driving with the drugs. They're all highly visual elements. They're all very sensational, right? And that's one of the pieces we taught in previous master classes here is the more you can involve all five senses, or the sixth sense, right? When you talk about synchronicity or intuition, the greater experience a listener can have of reliving that moment with you. So why I say a picture's worth 1,000 words. The moment you say pizza box, I got to sit on it. Everybody knows what that looks like and feels like. It's like, whoa. Right? So something to keep in mind. And if I took some notes on everyone's story, so I have your permission to give you all feedback. Thumbs up, yeah. Gary, yes, okay, cool. Dustin, something I noticed in you was a lot of time in your story, I'd say like 80%, that you had a very monotone voice, where it stayed in the same kind of tone. It didn't really go up or down. It just stayed right here instead of coming down into the different ranges, right? And so something I want you to be more mindful of is making that conscious choice. You may think you sound like a clown when you do it. That's okay. This is the place to play and be like, I think I sound ridiculous. But we'll give you that feedback if it did, or if it just actually was like, wow, I'm far more interested right now. Next up, you had your hands like this a lot of the time. Like the same gesture was just static. So something to be mindful of is try to paint with your hands. I felt you most alive when you were talking about the flat tire, and you even gave us a sound effect. It was like, like I was there in that moment, right? Because you gave us sound effects, your voice actually elevated, and then you also made a different character voice for yourself in the past when you're like, yeah, Billy, you got a fucking flat.
Yeah.
You changed your voice. So I was like, oh, cool, a new character's arrived, right? And then you mentioned a question when you're like, what do I see in his passenger seat? I was like, ooh, what's there? Right? So you used anticipation. You used a really great element, which is to ask yourself questions inside of your stories. Why would you want to do that? Because it allows us all to be like, oh, what's the answer? I want to know. So it improves focus and makes people want to know more. And then in your ending of your story, it was a little bit indecisive, where you were like, there's things that I would change. Actually, there's things I won't change. I was like, it was like a fizzle out. It wasn't like a strong boom, right? So end our story with really like a point. That's where people remember the beginning and the ending of your stories the most, right? Unless there's also like the highly visual pieces. Corey, yeah, you're welcome, Dustin. This is a fascinating topic for you, of saying like I live across the street from my high school. That's really fascinating. I'm like, whoa, holy fuck. So yeah. I would, if I was you and that was coming into your story, I would highlight that more, like using the dopamine stuff that you've learned. Like, you guys are probably not even going to believe this, or it's the craziest thing, but I actually live across the street from my high school. Right? Like, build it up, because that's a big point. And I felt that when you said it, and I could have felt it more if you gave it that weight. We all would have been like, whoa, all of us would be like, whoa. And then we all would imagine like, wow, what if I lived across the street from my high school? Whoa, right? That's the moment you give us all. And I felt you alive, and you were like, your teacher says God is dead, and students are like, what? And that was a great moment of like you putting on some character voices. Amazing gestures for like peeling the corn husks. And you were just like really with it. I was like, whoa, cool, right? Something you could do more of is in the story, try to give the physical descriptions. I didn't hear any like kinesthetic language, like peeling the corn husk. That was like one of the few, like, right? So consider, how can I really speak more of the senses? Like I look at my teacher. Like, you started to do that with like, his name is Jimmy, not James. Like, you could say like, I'm looking at him and he's wearing the same clothes I saw him wear at high school, like this blue suit, right? You can paint the picture more with the senses. And your voice has some range, but it stays like here, or it goes a little bit lower. I didn't ever hear any higher pitches of like, and I'm like, oh my God, it's the teacher. Like, what? I'm just thinking, no way. Right? You could allow the voice to go higher, give us more range. And then sometimes your gestures didn't really match what you were saying. They just were like hands moving.
That's because that's the Italian in me.
Yeah, yeah,
Out of the poopy.
yeah. It's great. So it's something to say, like when I'm going to describe something, really try to have the hands like match it, right?
Mm.
And like you gave like this gesture like 2 or 3 times repeated for like different things you were saying.
Okay.
And I was like, well, it's not that big a deal, but if you want to have really impactful communication, then like that's the way to do it.
Okay.
Of course I remember this. And then I have, of course I remember. Oh yeah, when the teacher said, "Of course I remember you guys." That was a great moment, right? Like, so you can say like, okay, so I can remember. You can even say this in your show, like, I remember the look on his face so clearly as he just like smiles at us and goes, "Of course I remember you guys." Right? So you could even really like another one of those shock moments.
Okay.
That's my feedback for you, my friend.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And then Carrie, let's see here. Similar to Dustin, working on the monotone voice, the way I want you to do it is the same advice I gave you last week, which is make the vowels an extra second or two longer. I think that is going to really help you with your accent. If you want people to really like listen to you, I know we spoke before this call, you were like, how do I help express things to people? One of those tips would be for you to take any kind of vowel in a word and just make it a little bit like 1 or 2 seconds of longer. What else here? Sometimes, yeah, sometimes in the story, I experienced like a negativity with what you're saying, like, oh, this is happening and this is a problem. And if that's part of the story, that's cool because you're going to build up towards how big a thank you it is in order to impact. Boom. Right? So that would be really wonderful to have. Welcome, Kike. And so, yeah, keep that in mind. If you're going to have the negative tone in the story, you want to also have positive. So if you have the negative tone, I can talk about like how there's all this like negative problems here and how this is that. And then I want to be able to have this positive energy as well, where I might speed up and be like, wow. And then we called the pizza guy and it was like, okay, we're going to get pizza. And then he doesn't arrive because it's like cloudy day. And I'm like, this guy, when is he going to get here? But then I'm like, oh my God, what does he want me to do? Sit on his bike with the pizza? And I'm like, I can't do that. So you see how I can speed it up into the positive and have that high energy and then slow it down and have the lower voice for the negative sides.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, first of all, yeah, I appreciate the feedback, of course, about the accent, also paying attention to the vowel. One thing though is it just like I almost forgot about that advice, but thanks for reminding me. Another thing is about the negativity. I mean, yeah, I'm sure we spoke in the call, and I mentioned like at first I mentioned today I feel a little bit down, but I'm not gonna get into details. But it's just like whenever it's completely emotional. If I feel positive during that day, I will be more positive, and vice versa. So, but a lot of times I express myself without really being aware. So at that time, maybe I just I just talk about my emotions, but that was it.
Yeah, and that would be really great actually, Carrie. Like
No.
you could mention the emotions you're feeling in that moment in your story. Like, so because of this happening, like I just feel like sad and I just want to like curl up in a ball in the corner. But I'm hungry, so I'm going to order me some pizza, right? So you can actually take the sadness and put it in the story like that. So there's no like, I'm not saying that anything wrong. All is welcome. One more thing I had for you: uh, when you added like getting naked in the story, it was so smooth, man. It was so great. It was so perfect the way you put it in there, right? I just want to celebrate you. Ooh, yeah, oh yeah. And then the ending of your story. The ending of your story, you ended it like, so that's my story. I want to tell you guys, and yeah, so thank you. Like, nah, like take that part out and remember, like the beginning and ending of our stories has the most impact, right? So if your story is about the power of a simple thank you, then see how you can work like ending on that. And then just having that moment of holding the tension. Like, yeah, so that this thank you just was, it brightened my day. Right? Like that's like we feel that, right? Yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
Nice. Cool.
And yeah, I do have one thing real quick is that if I have to work on, I'm pretty sure like I have to work on, you know, a thousand plus things, but what do I really need to like prioritize? Do I because I only can work on one thing at a time. Do I work on like
For
the
you, I would
vowels or
prioritize the vowel.
vowel? Okay, I'll remember that. Sure.
Because if you put that in focus, it's going to make you get more emotional with your words and help us connect to you more.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
There it was.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. Yeah. There it was. There it was. That was better. Nice. Cool. TK, welcome, brother. We're going to jump into some games to isolate different parts of our expression and then come back to the same story game so you guys can all witness the shift in your potential or your expression.
Okay, brother. You want to mention that I don't know why I cannot turn on my camera. This is happening to me in specifically with these Zoom calls, also with Debbie. In the weekly calls, I can put my camera on, but I don't know why I try to move everything. So I apologize that I'm not on
Oh,
camera.
are you using your phone, your laptop?
Yeah, it's my laptop.
If you try from your phone, can we see if that works?
Yeah, let me try.
Cool. I mean, if maybe it works or not, I don't know.
Okay, let me just close this and come back.
So this game we're gonna play, we're gonna go with gestures, then we're gonna do voice. Sorry, we're gonna do gestures, we're gonna do face, and then we're gonna do voice. Okay, so the way this game goes is I want you to not use your body, only use your arms. And for 60 seconds, feel free to move however you want. You're going to gesture, you can, whether it's like fishing, whether it's like wrenching, whether it's like flicking, right? You play with any kind of gesture you want and know that there's different energies, right? There's like jaggedy, there's smooth, you can be caressing, right? So there's all these different, hey, there he is, welcome Kike. So the exercise is to start for 60 seconds and only use the arms and hands to make gestures. So realize that you could play with the speed. It can be expansive. It can be kind of closing inwards. It could be chopping, punching. There's all these different, there's the smoothness, there's this jagged. So play with all of that. So we got 60 seconds. And just let yourself play, have fun with it, and go for it. Oh, yeah. Carrie, where you at?
I thought I was doing something. Okay.
Keep the arms moving the whole time. Nice. And time. Hey, oh yeah.
Hey, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And now, same game, but you're going to add into it. Actually, let me do something else first. So that was gestures. Now we're going to go to the face. So with your face right now, you're going to try and make a level 10 expression of each emotion that I call out. Okay? So if I say joy, and you're going to hold it for like 10 seconds, okay? Yeah. Make it number 12. And let it go. And notice, are you holding your breath?
Mm-hmm.
Are you creating tension in your throat or your shoulders unnecessarily? It's common for us to associate an emotion, not to the emotion itself, but to the repression of the emotion, right? Because it's so common in society to like say it's not okay to show emotions. So when we think about expressing joy, instead of like what we'll do is this is like joy. It's like oh yeah, and we like squeeze the shoulders up, make these fists, and we squeeze the voice. Oh yeah, instead of like a oh yeah.
Mm.
Right? Like that full voice without the tension allows so much more vitality and life force to be present. So, exactly, which is great, right? We're trying to isolate one piece and then we'll bring the voice in the next rounds, right? We're isolating and then we're going to integrate. So, next round, we're going to do more faces, and I want you guys to consciously notice, am I stopping my breath? Am I creating tension in my shoulders or in my thighs? And notice the tension or the holding of breath. Keep the face and let go of the tension. Bring in deep breath. First notice it and then release it, okay? So now you're going to go from like a 1 to a 10 for this emotion. So disgust. Hold it at 10. Breathe. Make it a 12. 12 of disgust. There you go. Very nice.
It's hard to breathe.
Breathe, exactly.
It's hard.
And release.
Oh, wow.
Now, what we're doing right now, I want you to imagine just like the way you brush your teeth, that's how often you would do these exercises. You don't need to do this in your story, but now it's like you're creating more range of expression, right? Like Carrie thought he had all this disgust he had, then I said 12, and suddenly his face expanded even more. Right? So we have more than we think we have. So the armor on our face of like playing it cool, that's what we're melting right now. All right, one more round of this game. This time you're going to, if I give you a different number, like 3, 6, 9, 1, you're going to try to match that with your level of intensity in your face gesture, okay? While also trying to breathe and relax tension. So let's go with furious. So furious. So like angry, right? So level 4, angry. Level 7, angry. Level 10, angry. 2, 9, 11, 15. Carrie, you look constipated. More anger. Go for it. More anger. Like you want to fucking kill something. Like, oh yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, there it is. There it is.
Very nice.
Too angry. Breathing. 4 angry. Breathing. 8 angry. 10 angry. 1 angry. Breathing. And letting go of tension. 6 angry. Breathing. Releasing tension. Notice, Kike, how you turned your head to try and do it. Only the face, yeah. And let it go. Whew. Do you notice as you bring the breath in, does it help you to have an easier expression of the anger or less expression?
It might depend on the emotion for me, but I did find it a little easier to find my breath. I might have lost like a degree of emotion doing it, but I was able to bring it back and breathe.
Yeah. And I would even wonder did you lose the emotion or did you just lose the tension? And that changed your perception of what's going on.
That's a good point.
Cool. All right, so we're gonna go to another game. We just worked a little bit of the face. We did a little bit of gestures. This is like we're scratching the surface, right? I have like a 32-minute workout for the face, 40-minute workout for the body and gestures. This is part of my program. But so next up, let's go to the voice. So with the voice, every guy gets a 1-minute story. What you're gonna do is let's play with 2 elements at the same time. The thing I told Carrie about where you're gonna have like kind of this like lower, like slower voice, and then suddenly you're gonna get a lot more excited and like faster talking. So we're gonna go back and forth between those 2. And I want you to include pauses. You're gonna go like, oh my God, like wow, this really happened and I'm excited about it, and then something else happened that I wasn't so happy about. That's what we're playing with in order to really exercise having the voice have more conscious expression. And while you're doing this, notice if you're squeezing the throat in order to try and express. Like right now, I'm trying to talk to you guys and I'm holding some tension in my throat. You probably can even feel it as I'm talking to you. And if I allow my voice and my throat to really open up, the tone has a lot more resonance. This gives me more readiness if I want to bring it up higher or if I want to let it go lower. If I'm holding onto the tension and I want to go higher, then I actually raise the volume, not the tone, when I'm trying to raise or lower. So your topic for the story, Corey, since your name rhymes with story, would you give us all a topic that we're all going to talk about?
Topic we're all going to talk about. Let's go with your favorite, if you were going to the electric chair tomorrow, what would your last meal be?
Perfect. If you're going to the electric chair tomorrow, what would your last meal be? Everyone's got a minute to focus on increasing the energy and lowering the energy with pauses. And when you get to go by saying, guys, let me tell you a story. and then I'll start the timer.
Guys, let me tell you a story. So I'm on my way to the electric chair, and I definitely deserve to go. I get to the best thing about this incident is I get to pick my final meal. I chose country fried chicken and some redskin mashed potatoes with roasted corn. And for dessert, I'll do some chocolate cake, I believe. And it's with a sad tone I talk about dessert, because I know it'll be my last bite of chocolate cake. But I know on the other side, I'll probably have a free buffet full of country fried chicken and mashed potatoes and chocolate cake for everyone.
Hey, ooh yeah, oh yeah. Corey, where's the celebration? Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, shit. Sorry, I'm thinking about the fried chicken and potatoes. Honest to God, and the gravy.
Kike, earlier when we started, we made up a sound and a gesture so to celebrate everyone's creativity. Whenever someone finishes a story, we go, oh yeah, oh yeah. So feel free to keep yourself unmuted so that we can hear your celebration for each other. Cool. All right, next man's story is up whenever they say, let me tell you a story.
Okay, guys, let me tell you a story. Okay, I need to be very fast with you because I have only 1 minute before I go to my sentence chair. Today is my last day, but I want to really go and enjoy my last minute. Let me tell you first. I'm thinking if my favorite meal will be tacos. Yeah, let me run and get the best tacos of Tulum. Okay, remember Pepe's tacos? Oh no, those are cheap. Oh, Tres Galeones, let me go. Hurry up. Tres Galeones is my favorite. Shrimp tacos. I cannot dream. I dream with shrimp tacos before I die. But oh my God, it's close. I'm about to have a heart attack before I go to the electric chair, guys. I don't know what I'm doing. Okay, I know which ones. El camello. Let's go. Come with me. I'm already there. Oh! Okay, I'm ready to die. See you another time.
Wow.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
Oh yeah. Eh?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah! Hoorah!
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, Kike. That was
Yeah.
great.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, let me tell you guys a story. So I'm going to the electric chair. I'm about to die. Oh my God, but they're going to give me a meal. Thank God. What is it that I want? Oh, I want some slow roasted baby back ribs. The ones with the ooey gooey sauce that's dripping all over them. And then they're just so moist when you open them up. But then on the side, I want some French fries, some really, really spicy, really hot French fries. Not too hot, though. Not the ones where you grab them and they burn your hands off. Oh, I hate that. They've got to be like middle of between like hot and lukewarm with some. But then I want to like dump a bunch of ketchup on top of those French fries. Just goo it all over the fries. And then lastly, I want a can of Coke. I want to pop open that can of Coke and slowly pour it over ice cubes to wash it all down.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Hoorah!
Hoorah!
Ooh,
It's me or you, Carrie. Who's gonna go first? All right, let me tell you guys a story. I knew I was gonna get in trouble for this idea, but I thought, fuck it, I'm gonna get killed anyways. So there I am staring at this like chair, and it's about to electrocute me. Spoiler alert, I lived. But they said you can have whatever you want to eat. So I remember when I was like right before I went in the Marine Corps, I went to Texas, and there's this place called Chicken Express. I don't know if you've heard of them, but they had the most incredible, like flaky, fresh chicken that when you put it inside of the white gravy, this like creamy white gravy, oh, I would just dip and devour. And so I have that along with Oreos. What to do?
Wahoo!
Oh, wow, I got a new one.
Hoo-ah!
What?
I did it backwards. Wahoo! Hoo-ah!
Love that. This is so fun. All right, Carrie, you're up, my friend.
Like just talking whatever. I missed the instruction.
Okay, the instructions are you're telling a 1-minute story on what would you have as your last meal, your last food before you would get electrocuted by a chair.
What?
Before you're going to be killed. And so remember, you're going to go really quickly with your voice, like really excited, big energy, and then slow down when you have this different energy of intensity.
Okay.
Occasionally putting in pauses.
Okay.
Go for it.
So, before I'm gonna getting killed, I'm thinking my first thought would be, what kind of food do I want to enjoy? It was my last chance to enjoy the life. I'm thinking of lobster. I'm thinking of some barbecue, some seafood, buffet, whatsoever. Right? I'm thinking, what kind of stuff I want to enjoy with all the money I made in my life. But then I realized it's probably not gonna work. It just last second though for me. It's not gonna change anything. So what I want is something very simple. Something that can make me paralyzed and not my nerve. That's what I want. So that whenever I get killed, I will not even realize. That's the shit, man.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Eh?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You sound
Hoo-ah!
Canadian. Oh yeah, eh?
Nice turn, Carrie. That was a nice twist at the end.
That was a good twist. And also at the end, you did finally hit the like a faster speed of speaking. So great effort to apply the work. Nice. Cool. So we just worked the voices, guys. Notice that we just worked the face, the voice, and we worked gestures, right? Now we're going to put all these pieces back together. I want you to blend everything together. We're going to do the same story game we did at the beginning. And Kike, you missed yours, so we'll give you a new story. You'll tell your story, but we just want to have this like before and after picture that the other guys got. So you're going to tell the same story you already told. You've already got the words. So a lot of that creativity is already there, right? So if you need to scroll back up to where your words were on the chat, then go ahead and do that. Let's see. So for me, I guess I was first, right? So I've got story behind my favorite tattoo, a mother's love, thermos, and Mars. All right. So let's go for it. Guys, let me tell you a story. It's about like my favorite tattoo. And you're probably not even going to believe this. You might even think like, you're full of it, bro. But it's true. I was in Japan getting a tattoo, and it's one of those tattoos that it's really special, right? Because I think tattoos, they're on you forever. So I think it's important to choose one that matters to you versus just something that's lame, right? Like, it's going to be a tattoo that's on your body for the rest of your life, then I want it to be something that has, like, when I look at it, I feel like a mother's love. I'm just like so happy that I have it in my life. And so there I am, with like over 200 Marines in Okinawa, Japan, on a sand bank. Not sand, it has grass, right? It's a bank, but there's sand where you sit, and like 300 yards in the distance, there is this target that like whoop, it pops up, and you got to be ready to shoot. Poof. And whenever you're the guy that's in the pit, you're like thinking like, wouldn't it be cool if we could just like throw things up in the sky and wah, he could shoot it and ba-ting, like you hit the moving targets. But so I'm just, we're thinking like, what can I throw? I can throw my thermos up there. And we did not do that because the drill instructors or the sergeants would just come and just like destroy you, say goodbye to your career. So regardless of that, out of everybody that was there, I had the highest scores. I got expert marksmanship written on my report. And so I was like the best of the best in that shooting range. And my friend was like, let's go and celebrate this. You got to get it like a tattoo to commemorate this moment. And I'm like, what would I get? What would I get? And so, we go to the tattoo parlor. The guy is Japanese, doesn't speak any English. No, speak any English. What do you want? And so I just like look at his book and I'm like, this is what we're going to get. He's like, okay, 1 hour. And so I leave with my friend. We get a jungle juice, like a huge mix of all alcohols you can imagine. Drink it all up, enjoy ourselves, and sure enough, like you would think we were coming from Mars, the way that we were like walking into that tattoo parlor, like, oh man, here we go, ready for the tattoo. And I fell asleep while he was tattooing me because I had drank enough. And when I wake up, he just like pokes me. Oh, you done? Oh, cool. So I like look in the mirror. So I'm like, I gotta see this tattoo to see if it looks good. And sure enough, it's the best tattoo ever because it says "badass" on my. So I'm like, that's the best tattoo I could possibly get.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa!
Thank you, guys. All right. Oh, Leo Tuna.
So just to have clear, the prompt is using specific words like tattoo, or each one pick up their own word.
No, so what we did in the first round, welcome, Leo. Happy to see you.
Leo, how are you?
Crazy.
We played the game where I gave a topic, and then as you were talking, the other guys in the class would add a word, and you had in the chat, and then you'd have to try to figure out how to like include that word in your story. And so they gave me the words "a mother's love," "thermos," and "Mars," and so I had to include those into my story. So now we're redoing that same story and those same words, only now intentionally adding in more facial expression, which gives more emotion, more gestures with your hands that describe what you're saying. And then also we worked with the voice for you to be able to slow down and have a lower energy, or bring it back up and have a bigger energy and have pauses. So now we're including all that to start getting reflections on, did we notice a shift in that person's storytelling?
Okay, so it's mother love, thermo, Mars.
No, those were mine. We're gonna give you all
Oh.
new ones.
You are gonna give me mine. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So, who was
Let me
next?
tell you guys a story.
Yeah.
Let me tell you guys a story about my best vacation and how to best enjoy it. I went to Hawaii with my family, a huge family. I'm talking probably 25 people. It's a lot of cousins. We made our way out to the Big Island, and we all met up. First thing we did is go out to dinner, have nice, good meals, and we were double fisting drinks. Having a blessed time, reminiscing, and being together. Now, an important part of this vacation was breakfast. We would have wonderful breakfasts with pancakes and bacon, and of course, with all those wonderful things, you need the maple syrup drizzled on top. Nice and slow. And this just led to such good times together. The most memorable part of this vacation was a night where we went to the north side of the island with my brother, my sister, and my brother's girlfriend. We went down to the campgrounds that were on the north side, and we started a big fire, all crackling and everything. We had a great time. My brother, however, overserved himself a little bit. So he was feeling a little drunk, and he insisted on driving back from the north side of the island. So we go to leave the campground, and as we're going up this rocky campground, he pops his front right tire, and I can hear it out the window. But he keeps trying to drive. Hey, Billy, you got a flat, man. You got to pull over. So we pulled over, and we broke up into groups. My sister and his girlfriend went back down to the campsite and tried to find someone there. And I and my brother stayed there and tried to flag people down. And wouldn't you know it, someone came whizzing around the corner. Young kid. I flagged him down. He nearly hit me. And as he pulled over and I looked inside, what did he have in his passenger seat? With a bong and some drugs. So this stone guy helped me take off the lug nuts, get the spare tire on, and got us on our way. Now, I know that story doesn't sound too appealing, but the best way to enjoy a vacation is to be with the people you love, doing things you love to do, and eating some good food.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Coo.
Yeah. Do you guys notice the difference?
I did.
Yeah, definitely the hand gestures, the lead up, the difference in the voice, or sorry, the speed.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah. There was some speed moments. The drizzle of the hunt was great.
Sound effects.
Sound
Yes.
effects. 100%. The sound effects. I wrote that down. That was great.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah. Thank you. Corey, I think it's your turn.
Am I up? Okay. Guys, I'd like to tell you a story about the most impactful teacher that I've ever had. So I got to show you something. You're not going to believe this, but see where those lights are on over there? That is my old high school. Can you believe that? That is where I went to high school. So let's go back in time. Let's go back to, how old? It was grade 10. I was 15 years old. And we go, and this is a Catholic high school, by the way. And so we go to this English class. And this is the first time that I meet Mr. McKechnie. And this guy is something else. He's got this long ponytail. He's wearing a Hawaiian t-shirt and he's wearing flip-flops. And we're all just like, who is this guy? Right? He immediately begins and he looks at all of us students and he says, I want to tell you guys something. God is dead. what? We're these like 15-year-old impressionable students, and this guy is telling us at a Catholic school that God is dead? What? Oh my God, it was like we were like corns of husks that were just being ripped and peeled from the ears, right? We were just so impressionable. We're just like, oh my God, what is happening? And when I went home that night, I told that to my parents. And they were like, what are they teaching you guys at this school? Right? But needless to say, this man was just so important to us. He let us just kind of create and be, you know, like if we were going to walk around class with our finger in our ear, he didn't care, right? He just wanted us to experience life. And it was so spectacular. Circa a few years later, my friend Jimmy and I are down at the bar having a few beers, and all of a sudden we look over, there's Mr. McKechnie, right? So we go over to him and we're like, hey, sir, do you remember us? And he's like, of course I remember you guys. And, you know, we sat around and we shot the shit like, you know, regular dudes. And we had a few beers and reminisced about those days. And it brought back so many good memories of what a great guy he was then. And he's still a great guy now. Did I use them all?
Ooh, ah, yeah.
Hoo-ah! Hoo-ah!
Oh, nice.
What? I love it.
There was so much vocal variety, so much of visual language, right? Do you guys notice that?
Oh yeah, showing us the school.
Yeah. So you had a strong start with the anticipation of the shock, and I would only say, like, at the end, I would love to hear like what made him the best teacher.
Okay.
That would be one thing to be like, really, when you complete the story, what's the point of being told it? And he's still a great guy. Like, what made him a great guy, right? Like, you want to end on that point. So it's really, what are we going to think about after your story, right? He's still a great guy.
God is dead. That's what I'm going to think about.
Yeah.
God's still dead.
Yeah. Even though he thought God was dead, I learned from him that, you know, whatever you want to say. Yeah. Sweet. Great work, Corey. I see the growth, man. That was fantastic.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Putting all your teachings to work here, man.
I see it. All right, Carrie, you're up, my friend.
All right, let's go. So one day, while I was in the Navy, I went to where my friend took me to the swimming pool so that I could swim. Unfortunately, that day was rainy, and my friend left me because he had an emergency, which means I had to find a way to get back to the dorm by myself. What was I supposed to do? It was raining, and I didn't know anyone who were in the pool with me. So I was just hungry, and I was just hungry to ask people for help. And and I saw the pizza. I saw the pizza delivery. I was like, why not shoot two birds with one stone? Okay. Why not shoot two birds with one stone? I was hungry for help, and I was hungry too, right? And I was like, how about if I buy you a pizza and you give me a ride to the base? And that guy be like, hell no, you're goddamn wet, and it was rainy, and I don't have the time for you. So I was very frustrated, and I just felt like I was being naked and asking girls for phone number. uh, it was just the exact analogy to express my frustration. And then finally, 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 I met an officer, and he was O5 while I was E2. And I didn't know that back then. I just desperately asking for a ride. But luckily enough, he didn't have that attitude. I was like, let me just pay you, give me a ride. And at the end, we had a great conversation during the ride. And at the end, I just say thank you. I just felt deep down from my appreciation that he as an O5 are willing to give me E2 a ride to my doorman. So I say thank you, and definitely he appreciate my appreciation, and he gave me his number. Be like, hey, sometime he gave me his number. It'd be like, sometime let's have some pizza delivery.
Wow, Kerry.
That was good, man. You had us dying laughing.
Oh, so good. Any feedback? Anything you guys want to share?
Well, just the energy for this one was just like triple, quadruple what the first story was, man.
Yeah.
Like you were more animated, and it was awesome.
You even gave the pizza delivery guy a line too, which I liked.
You added a character.
I'm not giving you a ride.
You know what? Like at the first, like Dustin said about like genuines, right? Genuines about the story. I was like just trying hard. I was like, should I add this? Because it was not a real story. But then the second time I was like, fuck it, just pretend it was real.
Yes, your conviction was palpable.
Yeah.
I could feel it, man.
Let it rip.
Let it rip, yeah, like Leo says.
Yeah.
Yeah, you let it rip for sure. Your voice was so much more with energy and variety, from going fast to slow, and your enthusiasm and smiles were contagious. And,
Yeah.
and
Yeah, I mean, that's why I like those sessions, right? Because today I feel like negative and sad, but now somehow I had some fun. So
yeah, man. Thank you
I
so
like
much
it.
for your story. So appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, but before we go to Kike and Leo, Dustin, Corey, Kerry, can you see and feel the shift in your storytelling by isolating the different ways you project and then bringing them back together?
100%.
Yep.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was more exciting for me to tell. And I'm sure, I enjoyed, the stories were all good, both first and second, but I enjoyed those second renditions even more.
Yeah. Cool, guys. This is what it's about, man. So I was celebrating each of you for staying with it through the unknown, and then just be like, oh yeah, for your growth. Really, really cool.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get Kike in next. Let me give him a topic. Let's see here. Which topic shall I give the man, the myth, the legend?
You'll want to have your chat open, Kike, if you do have that option.
Let's see. Kike, choose either the number 2, 4, or 5. Choose the number 2, 4, or 5. You're muted, my friend. 2, 4, or 5.
Sorry about that. 5.
5. Okay. Your story. Okay. So how this works, Kike, is I'll give you the topic right now, and then you want to keep looking in the chat, because as you're talking, every few sentences, you're going to see one of us put a word, and you have to try to include that in the story. The more smooth, the better. If you don't have to say the word right after you see it, you can take a sentence or 2 sentences to kind of bring that word in more smoothly, right? It doesn't like, oh, and then I got to use that word now. No. Try to make it really suave and sexy.
All right.
Like this wasn't a story you made up. Like, oh, you planned that. So here is your topic: how to navigate a career change. So you're going to tell a story about this, and then you'll see our different words.
Who does the words?
Let's go with Dustin, Corey, and Kerry. You guys give the words.
Okay.
Okay, so I imagine I need to say, let me tell you a story, guys, to begin, right? Or not necessary?
I didn't hear you. Say it again.
So I need to say it, let me tell you a story, guys, or not necessary?
Yeah, you can. It's a good setup. Yeah, I could hear you. It just there was it was your accent, my friend. I didn't understand. You can put the headphone back in.
Okay. If not, it's gonna be a little bit weird with my hand
Exactly.
over here. Okay. Let me tell you a story, guys. Do you want to know what one of the biggest decisions in my life? Actually, I don't know if it's the second best decision of my life, but anyway, the best decision of my life is when I took the decision to change my university degree. I was studying business administration, and I said, "Oh, wow, business administration, that's something that anybody can study. I just want to have a better career like marketing." Yeah, because all the marketers were just like having fun in the beach, looking babes with bikinis and playing volleyball and doing water polo competitions. And it was so funny to watch of them. And I was like, oh man, I'm studying business administration here, just like a nerd, studying, and all the marketers having fun. All right, I'm going to change my career and I'm going to be a marketer in that moment. And let me tell you, that's the best decision I have ever taken in my life. Because nowadays, I have like, you are not going to believe how many clients do I have, guys. Do you want to know? Around 100 clients every day signing because they like how I create advertisement for them. I have a client that he told me, Enrique, I have a stubbed toe. And I love it. We can create the best marketing campaign with that. Show me your toe. And I was like, dude, that toe is gonna be famous. Look at that. My face was like praying, like, okay, I don't know where I'm gonna put so much money of this carpeting, marketing campaign and everything. But then I decided to change my mind and I said, dude, that toe is not real. Let's make something more creative. What about if we do a t-shirt, an amazing t-shirt with that toe put in the mouth of a shark? Wouldn't be that amazing? And he says like, yeah, Enrique, you are so creative. I love you. I love you. I'm going to make so much sales with that marketing campaign that my company is going to blow up. My clients are going to be happy. My employees. And I really need to thank you for everything that you have done for me. I really appreciate your heart, your creativity. And in that moment, he started tearing of gratitude. As I am tearing right now, because that was the best decision I have made in my life. I don't know where I will be right now if it wouldn't be for that decision. Let me take these tears out and back to you guys.
Wow!
Oh
This
yeah!
is natural. Wow.
Oh my gosh, Kike.
Yeah, crushed it.
It was difficult not to see my face in the screen. It was just looking the white thing. So
You
I made
looked
it
great.
perfect, man. Yeah,
You looked amazing.
Well done.
that was phenomenal.
thank you. And I
You
don't
just-
even know what stubber toe is that. What?
Stub your toe means like you bump it, you hit. You know,
Oh,
if you're in line and you kick the person in front of you, or you walk around the corner and you hit the wall.
I had
oh,
no
I get
idea.
it.
I had no
I
idea
just
that you didn't know. You
improvised it.
It was so great, man. You really took time to put the gestures in for the bikini and the water polo, and you had some great pauses. I love how you put this stub toe that makes you famous. And I also, in the beginning, there was a confusing part where you were like, "It's the biggest decision of my life," and then you're like, "Wait, maybe second, this confusion part, right? That's the part in the story that you'd want to make more like commit to, like this is there. You're like, best decision ever. And if you're having that doubt, like, was it really? Like, fuck it. For this story, yes, it is, right? Like, just lean in, right? Hold attention on what you said. And then the tears of gratitude, man, like, like the character work, phenomenal, man.
Yeah.
Mm,
I
thank you.
I was waiting for the end for you to put like I'm crying, like I'm so happy that I made myself rich off this shark shit. Like I thought that would have been like a smooth, because you used the word shark, but you didn't use shit. So I was like, oh, that's so cool. He could do it right now. Oh man, great work, PK. I see your growth. I'm happy you're like, he's one of the veterans. He's been here to many classes, so I can see you're putting the work in, man. You're really learning.
You can tell.
Mm,
That was great.
definitely. Yeah.
Yeah, your expression, brother, is really growing.
Thank you. All for you, hermano. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Thank you for you. Leo, are you with us?
Yeah, but I'm just being a fly on the wall today. I'm just observing. I can't really think about participating right now. I'm stuck in the middle of traffic in Hollywood.
All right.
But I love you guys, and I'm having fun just watching you guys compete.
I hear that. Well, cool. Let's then move on to what are your takeaways? What are you grateful for? I'll do a little review of what we covered today, just to give you that refresher. So we started off with just saying, you know what? Let's play a game. We looked at life as a game, and we set the tone of saying, hey, what's really important is letting your creativity out and judging yourself after the fact versus before you say something, right? And how valuable it is to just get the creativity out, because the more it comes out, the better it gets. And especially if it'll start to come quicker, just like Dustin. And
Yeah.
and so then we went into acknowledging, what was it that what was the piece? How did we get to Carrie's sound effect? We acknowledged celebration, right? Really celebrating our creativity. And the more we do that, the more this positive association is made to being creative. So we're consciously creating a habit right now. So acknowledge yourself each time you're creative with the celebration. It could be a dance move, could be just a yes, right? It could be anything, but take that moment. And then we went into a story. You guys were improvising in the moment, boom, 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 really playing. And so thank you for your bravery to follow through on not judging yourself ahead of the time. Let's just get it out there, right? We acknowledge that the more we have a variety in our tone of voice, the easier it is for us to really stay present, along with the more visual and the more sensational we speak our stories with our ponytails and Hawaiian shirts and the corn husk that peels away with sound effects. It really grabs the person's attention and puts us inside the story, right? Then we isolated, we recognized that, hey, there's all these different modalities for expression. There's the voice and the different tones. You can also have different accents. You can also, play with the different sounds from how loud it is to how quiet you get. So we started to play with this. We went into the gestures and playing with space to see what gestures really like have that impact to draw people's attention to what's most important. Then we went through from the gestures and the face and the voice to the face, right? We know all our emotional is really expressed inside the face. So we practice opening up our range by trying out new faces, right? So in honor of doing that, we unlock and remap what is possibly available instead of this like deadpan face of keeping it together and allowing ourselves to really express the emotion sincerely. Then we put it all back together and baked a sexy, delicious cake with the same story we told in the beginning and witnessing our iterations, repetitions, really shining bright for all of us to witness that integration from the separate pieces back into the whole. We had a huge journey today. We did a lot of work. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So in honor of all of that, guys, I'd love to hear each of you just take a minute or two, and just be like, this is my biggest takeaway that I want to keep applying going forward. Just if you were to choose one thing that you were like, this was the biggest thing for me and why, and then what you're grateful for.
I'll go first if I can. So what I've noticed by doing this and doing what we're doing right now is instead of telling a story where I'm thinking about, oh my God, are they listening to me? Or, I'm overthinking things and getting in my own head. And then that's when you get rigid and nervous, right? I find by doing this, it's almost like I'm telling myself the story. Right. And then it allows me to really get into it more and actually like be free and just not think, just kind of just let it go. Right. And it's so freeing, it just feels so natural instead of like, oh, I have to tell this perfect story and they have to listen to me or they're going to judge me, but that's how I feel right now, is just free by doing this. So for what you're teaching us right now, Kegan, this class alone, I am so grateful for that because I want to practice this stuff. It's special, man. Thank you so much. So grateful for you.
Yeah, you're very welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Hurrah!
Hurrah!
Oh
yeah.
I'll jump in there. Carrie spoke on it a little, and I can relate that I came into this class probably not. I mean, I think I was dancing around a bad mood. I was just had some negative energy, and not everyone was here for it. Carrie actually came in the middle of our little dance party to start the class, and this class really has some energy. I went to one a couple months ago. This is my first time back since, and this has such an energy, this class, and it totally turned my perspective on my day around. And what I want to work on and take away from this class is how you can really impact. You're telling yourself the story, you're telling someone else's story. You can really impact your mood and their mood, by being purposeful and telling a beautiful story. Capture their attention. Don't worry about if they're listening or not. I like what you said, Corey, about tell yourself the story, demand their attention. God damn it, So it's very, very cool, and I thank you guys. Grateful for Men of Meats.
Okay, I think I go next. I think my biggest takeaway is also very related on what Corey said. Feeling this freedom of expression. I don't really care if I just spill from my mouth anything. For me, it's like practice, like doing the work, like improving myself to this commitment of becoming a better communicator. And yeah, that's something that I really feel more comfortable, as probably you notice that on that way of expressing. And yeah, because at some point I want to be like you in your social media, like making gestures, and that right now I don't feel that comfortable, but I want to get in that point. So this is the perfect space to practice and to do it and to just feel not shame or whatever for the result. So that's my biggest takeaway. And I'm so grateful to have this space. I know that sometimes it's difficult for me to be here, but every time that I can make it, I will continue doing, because every time is a big lesson, and I really love it. So thank you, Kegan, and Corey, Dustin, Carrie. Thank you, all of you. Leo, too. Even traffic jam will allow you to participate, but your presence is always welcome and beautiful.
Thank you, Kike. I appreciate you, man.
I want to jump in real quick and saying that I really like the session. I mean, like Keegan's session is probably one of the most like I mean not even one of like the most frequent like sessions I attend. Just because like every time it's just like only a few of us, right? Because if there are so many people, it will be actually hard for each of us to really have the time to practice and really have the time to engage. So, and communication is always something I have to work on like along the way, and it's just very important to like show up every time. Not like it just not really only for the mood, but also for just like working on one thing at a time. I cannot fix anything right away, but if I gradually like make progress, it will be like what is it, Enrique? It will be like him to like he was like crushing it. So I'll be hit my small goals and yeah, go from there.
Fantastic, Carrie. Thank you. Yes.
What?
Oh, yeah.
What?
Yeah. Love this. Wow. Leo, anything you want to share?
I'm just grateful to witness you guys having fun, connecting, learning, and growing. Just happy to be a part of this group, even though I didn't make the first half of the call or even part of the second. But I just wanted to connect with you guys and see what was going on. Try to keep on track, and I'm just grateful to be alive and see you guys.
Thank you, Leo. Yeah, I'm super happy you showed up. I know every time you've been in these classes, it's been a blessing to have you here with your stories. So I'm always happy to see you. Guys, I want you to think about this for a moment. How much more excited can you feel to now be like giving a toast at a dinner party? Or just hanging out with your friends and telling them about your day? Right? Or on a date with a woman and being like, I can entertain her with this story. Like, how much more excited or happy can you feel about that because of what you've just practiced? Let that sink in. That's what we're up to here. Really allowing ourselves to have just more playfulness, more openness in our communication. Just realizing it's all a game, right? So thank you so much for your sharing. I call that caring versus holding back and being like, no, it's not, I'm not going to share with you guys. You're being generous with your story and your presence by opening up. And even if it's not, quote, perfect, you're sharing. And that's what is really such a gift. So I thank you to all of you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah. So
Thank
keep showing
you,
up.
Kegan.
Keep showing up. I'd love to see you guys back more and more and continuing to develop this. We're on a journey. We're on a mission to really become the most charismatic people in the world, where our stories hold people in complete focus. They close the tabs, they put the phone down, their jaw drops, and they're like, and then what happened? Right? We move them to action to make the sale and collect that money, baby. We get that woman that's just so excited about what we said that she's like, I'm going home with you tonight. Yeah, for sure. Right? That's all what's happening from our ability to connect with people with intention. So on that note, if you're open, I'd love to close us with the prayer. You guys up for that?
Yes.
Cool. Oh, great higher power that connects all of us together. Thank you so much for giving us this opportunity, giving us the freedom to be able to be here tonight. Thank you so much for giving us the family and the upbringing that allowed us to be here right now. We wouldn't be here without all of that, the good, the bad. Thank you for that. And thank you for always putting a rainbow in the clouds, for letting even the curses really become blessings with time. I ask that you allow us to integrate all these lessons today, to let ourselves truly soak all of this wisdom into our bones, to remember as we go into our night, into our dreams, to allow this storytelling to be like a mother's love and hold us. May we feel nurtured by our stories and appreciate our stories. May we also be able to have so many stories. It's like we have a cornfield of America. We just have so many that we can just pop out. We always feel confident to share because we know there's an endless bank that even if we were naked, we would be able to completely bring out some zesty story that inspires people into action, laughter, romance, dance, and all of these things that make us grateful to be in our pants. And thank you so much for allowing us this. May we allow ourselves to access this greatness with every single step and every single breath, to feel this memory soak into our bones, soak into our hearts, so that we can connect to each person around us with love, expanding from our center out and connecting us just like a warm hug to each person around us. So it is. Amen.
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 What?
Oh, yeah.
Good night, guys. See you.
Good night, brothers.
Thank you guys.
See you
Love
next
guys.
time. You too.
Wait,